I'm the kind of woman who alphabetizes spices and labels leftovers. Chaos makes my neck itch. So when my boyfriend, Evan, started texting at odd hours and taking urgent calls in the hallway, I didn't go full detective. I told myself, people get busy. I told myself, 7 months in is still early enough to be weird. Besides, whenever I asked, he'd grin and say, "Relax, Lil. It's just Mia. She's a friend from work." He always said her name like it was harmless, like a paper cut, not a blade. The first sign wasn't the late-night calls. It was the laughter. Evan laughed with me one way, easy, low, familiar. But on the phone with her, it was higher, younger, flirtier. I'd be chopping onions, and he'd be leaning against the counter, smiling into his screen with that soft glow you only save for a crush. And then, like a rider yanking reins, he'd look up at me and say, "She's going through stuff. I'm being supportive. Don't make it weird." He kissed my temple. I swallowed my questions like hot tea. One Saturday, Evan ran out for bagels and came back without cream cheese, which meant he'd get killed by my inner New Yorker. He rolled his eyes, tossed me his phone, and said, "Order grocery delivery, please. I'm going to shower." I opened his phone, not to snoop, but because he asked me to. The grocery app was next to something pink I didn't recognize. It was called Wish Nest. I clicked it, thinking it was some shopping thing. It was a baby registry. At the top was a photo of a smiling couple at the beach, cropped so you could only see their torsos. But I knew those hands. That watch on his wrist, that scar on his thumb is from slicing a lime. The name said Mia Donovan and Evan Carter, baby shower. The due date was bold, a neat little countdown clock ticking underneath. Baby girl arriving in 8 weeks. My toothbrush fell out of my mouth, even though I wasn't brushing my teeth. He'd been supportive, all right. There was an address for the shower, a cute pastel theme, and a list of gifts: bottles, a bassinet, a stroller that cost more than my first car. And under Dad's favorite, someone had added a little note: "Evan loves this one." Something inside me turned quiet and steady. It's the same silence that happens right before a storm breaks, the air all tight with waiting. I scrolled through the updates. There were posts like, "So grateful for everyone's support," and "Mia's 32 weeks today." I did the math in seconds. Then again, 32 weeks. Evan and I started dating 9 months ago. From the bathroom, the water went off. "You get the cream cheese?" he called. "Yeah," I said, my voice unrecognizable to my own ears, calm, gently lethal. "And I found your registry." He froze in the doorway with a towel on his hips. The color drained from his face so fast it was like watching someone lose blood. "Lily, it's not." "Not what?" I held his phone up, the screen a terrible lantern. "Not a registry? Not your name? Not your baby?" "It's complicated," he said. "That old, lazy lifeline people throw when they've run out of rope. We hooked up before we started dating. Then look, she was already pregnant. I didn't want to scare you off. I was going to tell you, I swear." "Before or after she sent out baby shower invitations with your name on them?" He stepped toward me. "I didn't approve that. She did it without asking. She's dramatic. You know how some people are. Does your baby know how some people are? I asked, and I hated how my lips trembled around the last word. Lily, he said softly, I'm sorry. I'll fix this. I want you. You and me. Mia and I, we're just friends. Friends don't have registries together. Friends don't count down weeks that line up perfectly with you and me. Friends don't buy that stroller you flagged as Dad's favorite. My voice cracked on Dad, and I turned away so he wouldn't see it. He reached for my hand. I stepped back like his touch would brand me. I need you to leave, I said. Pack a bag. The night at a friend's that night, or said he did, I didn't care. I sat on our couch staring at the little pastel ducks on the registry banner until they blurred. I thought of every time I'd asked an honest question and he'd told me to stop making things weird. I thought of the time he made fun of a friend's ex for staying with him after a lie. I thought of the woman I planned to be, the one who didn't settle for complicated when the truth was simple. He had a baby on the way with another woman, and he lied. By Monday, I had a plan, not because I'm vindictive, but because I understand that silence sometimes protects the wrong person. I bought the cheapest item on the registry, a pack of burp cloths, so my name would appear on the guest list. Then I DM'd Mia from my personal account, polite and warm. Hey Mia, I'm Lily. I've heard so much about you from Evan. He's always saying he's excited to co-parent. I'd love to stop by the shower and say hi, bring a gift. Where are you registered again? She responded within minutes with hearts, exclamation marks, and the address. Of course, so sweet, she wrote. We're celebrating Saturday at my sister's place. Can't wait to meet you. Evan begged me to skip it. I'll handle it, he said. I'll talk to her before. We'll clear it up. It's private. Your lies don't get privacy, I said. That's not how this works. He texted me too much after that. I didn't reply. Saturday came humid and bright. I wore a pale blue dress because I didn't want to look like revenge. I wanted to look like clarity. I brought the burp cloths in a neat bag with tissue paper, like this was any other party for any other life. The house was full of women and pastel balloons. Someone had made cupcakes with tiny sugar footprints. Mia stood near a banner that said, "It's a girl," with one hand on her belly, glowing in that soft, specific way. She looked exactly like a woman who had read every blog and saved every ultrasound picture. She looked like someone who deserved the decency of truth. Hi, I said. You must be Mia. I'm Lily. The smile faltered at my name, then reassembled itself with effort. Lily, she said brightly. I've heard a lot about you, too. Her eyes flicked over my shoulder like she expected Evan to materialize in my wake. He's not coming, I said softly. I wanted to meet you. I handed her the bag. Congratulations. She took the bag and held it to her chest like it was a shield. Thanks. I don't want to ruin your day, I said, and the room went quiet as if everyone could sense the weather turn. But I think we're both living inside a story he wrote for himself. Her sister, a woman with the same eyes, stepped forward. Everything okay? Mia's chin lifted. What do you mean? I took a breath. I felt cruel and righteous and terrified. I found the registry, the dates. He's been telling me you're just a friend. We've been dating for 9 months." A murmur rippled through the room, the kind that says people already suspected something somewhere. Mia's lips parted. Her hand went to her stomach, like she could hold her daughter steady with her palm. "He told me you were an ex who wouldn't let go," she said. Her voice was thin and sharp at the same time. "He said he was staying with you to help you move out without drama." There it was, the neat little lie he built on both our bones. Two women, opposite ends of the same sentence, each made into the reason he couldn't be honest. "I'm sorry," I said. "He told me he'd fix it. He told me not to make it weird." The narration, Mia's sister, made a small animal sound. "That man is not setting foot in this house," she said, fierce and sudden. Someone set down a tray a little too hard. As if conjured by his own chaos, Evan appeared in the doorway with a bouquet. He saw me, then Mia. The room full of women turned toward him like a single furious tide. His face cycled through expressions like a slot machine: surprise, fear, charm, apology. "Hey," he said, stepping forward with that smile. "This is—" "No," Mia said. "You don't get to narrate this." He blinked. "Baby, please." "Don't call me that," she said, one hand still on her belly. "You told me she was a problem. You told her I was a friend. Which one of us gets the truth?" Evan looked at me, pleading. "Lily, can we—" "We're not stepping into a hallway again," I said. "Say it here." He faltered. He tried to spin something about timing, fear, wanting to be a good dad, not wanting to lose me, them, his future, anything. Words stacked like jittery blocks and fell as quickly. He called it complicated 3 times. Mia's sister took the bouquet from his hands, walked to the trash, and dropped it in like a benediction. She turned back and folded her arms. "Get out," she said. Evan's mouth opened and closed. He reached for me with his eyes. I shook my head. "We're done," I said. He left to a chorus of silence so complete I could hear the AC kick on. When the door clicked shut, the room exhaled. Mia began to cry in small, furious bursts. I stepped closer, and, slowly, she let me hug her. Her shoulder was warm against my cheek. I could smell cupcakes and something like lavender. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I didn't want to do this to you today." "I'm glad you did," she said hoarsely. "Better now than with a newborn." I stayed for 30 minutes. I helped slice the cake. I tied a ribbon around a gift basket. Women have a way of rebuilding a room even while it's still smoking. Before I left, I wrote my number on a card and tucked it into a diaper box. "If you ever need anything," I said. She nodded through swollen eyes. When I got home, I packed what I wanted and left what I didn't, like a snake shedding skin. I texted Evan a single message. "There is no version of this where I trust you again. I wish the baby good health. Do not contact me." He sent paragraphs. I didn't read them. I blocked him. I called the landlord. I found a sublet with a window that faced east because I wanted mornings more than I wanted anything else. I told my mother I'd been a fool, And she said, "You were in love," and mailed me a set of new sheets. The truth I learned, betrayal makes you think you're stupid, but really, you were kind. You believed the first story because you wanted it to be true. The second story, the registry, the timelines, the baby shower with its sugar footprints, hurts more, but it's real. And the real thing, no matter how sharp, is always easier to heal from than a soft, pretty lie. Sometimes I still imagine a version where he told us both the truth early, where he wasn't a coward, where we made different choices. But reality is not a choose your own adventure book, and I only get this one. So I water the plant I rescued from the old apartment, I buy cream cheese and bagels, and invite my friend over on Sundays. I sleep across the whole bed like a starfish. I say yes to things that are small and honest. And when I pass a baby store and see a stroller in the window, I don't think of the registry anymore. I think of a room full of women who turned as one and said, with their eyes and their quiet, "You don't get to lie here." Then I think of the woman I was in that blue dress, steady as a tide. Not revenge, not chaos, just clarity.